Biden camp keeps putting out videos bragging about Bidenomics and how helpful it's been for the American people, while denouncing MAGAnomics, which they have deemed pretty disastrous for ordinary Americans. And guess what? The campaign is not working. It is failing miserably, and that's not just according to me, that's according to a new poll that shows that the majority of Americans actually feel better about Republicans taking charge with the economy as opposed to Democrats. So let's get to the details of this poll, which was conducted by Gallup. They found that 53% of Americans believe the Republican Party will do a better job of keeping the country prosperous over the next few years, whereas only 39% choose the Democratic Party. So that 14-point difference is a disaster. It's the largest advantage that Republicans have had on this specific issue since 1991. And last month, Gallup released the results of a completely different poll, which asked Americans how they felt about the economy. Here's what it found. In September, 20% of US adults said economic conditions are excellent or good, while 32% call them only fair and 48% poor. The overall positive rating is down slightly from 23% in August, while the poor rating is up from 42% and is the highest Gallup has seen in a year. So I just want to talk a little bit about why this is, because if you look at what Biden and his administration has actually accomplished, there are some significant wins there.
Yeah.
We've talked about his National Labor Relations Board and how they've been real fighters for workers, offering protections and making it easier for workplaces to unionize. We've talked a lot about the head of the FTC, Lina Khan, who's been doing an excellent job preventing some mergers and acquisitions from happening and holding some of these massive corporations accountable for their monopolistic practices. But that isn't really translating to economic wins for ordinary people. Why do you think that is, Waz?
I think it's several things, several pronged, right? One is that just sheer numbers wise, most of the gains of the quote unquote recovery have accrued to people who are already rich. So when you come out and tout the recovery and the gains made to people who aren't actually feeling them, it's hard to trust you on that. And then on the things that you're actually doing well, you can't come out and give a full-throated endorsement to, or you've been slow to. There was a tweet put out there of one of Obama's former staffers or aides or whatever this guy was, strategists, consultants, whatever. And he was just aghast at the idea that Joe Biden as president would show up and be united with the UAW the way that he was. He just found that to be unconscionable, that he would wade into that fight that way and be so directly on the side of the workers. I think he's got to do more and more of those kinds of things.
He does, yes.
The polling has shown that normal American people, when you ask, are you on the side of the executives of Ford, GM, and whoever the hell Chrysler's calling themselves now?
Stellantis.
It's Stellantis, and the actual people who make that thing go and make it run. Normal American people understand it's just the Democrats as an establishment collectively, and we've said this many times before, Anna, they can't take the position that they are directly against their overseers in the corporate class. And then thirdly, I honestly think is the economy's going bad for normal people. And the Dems are the party in charge.
No, that's
you
right,
gotta get the blame for it.
So,
that's just how it goes.
So I wanna elaborate on that further because you're touching on what I think is the main issue here. But I also wanna add, one of the other things that Biden did that I think is fantastic is he implemented a minimum 15% corporate tax. Now 15% is very low, but when you consider the fact that Trump rolled back corporate taxes from 35% to 21% without closing corporate tax loopholes, the effective tax rate ended up being negative, meaning that they would get like the most profitable companies in the country, including Amazon, would get like a tax refund when they would file the taxes. So Biden did something about that and ensured that there was a regulation in place ensuring that these corporations at a minimum pay a 15% tax rate. Now, to elaborate on what you mentioned in regard to how ordinary Americans, or what ordinary Americans are experiencing with the economy. Listen, we live in California, so I get that we pay a little more or a lot more in gas prices.
It's absurd.
We're in LA right now. It is hard to find a gas station that is selling gas for less than $6 a gallon.
Yep.
And so I know how gas prices actually work. I know that Joe Biden really has no control over that, and that it is the doing of the OPEC plus cartel, where it's all about the international market. It's all about, some of these countries that produce oil intentionally withholding production to limit the supply and drive up the prices of, the prices that we experience at the pump. Inflation is still pretty sticky and it's hurting Americans. These are the things that they see, these are the things they experience, and they're gonna blame the party in charge. It's just like how Trump, at the tail end of his term, was hurting because of the economy tanking due to coronavirus.
100%.
That wasn't his fault, but he was still blamed for it. Yeah, so I think that's what's really going on here.
Yeah, and I think another thing that Americans don't have a hard time understanding, they go out and try to buy a car. They go out and try to rent an apartment. They go out and try to buy a home. They see what the prices are.
The high interest rates?
The high interest rates relative to what they're still making, right? I saw something the other day where, some other douchey billionaire gets on in front of a camera and it's like, these people want a 40% raise. What in the hell? Like, that's inflation and blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, guys, any average American would know that the price of cars have gone up and they know the workers aren't getting paid more. Like, it's not hard to understand these things. But again, I think Biden doesn't go out and stump for his actual victories. What he's doing with pharmaceutical companies for the first time ever in the history of ever, this guy's gonna be able to negotiate with these clowns to lower prices for seniors.
That one's a little more complicated and I would not give him credit for that.
Well,
because a lot of those drugs, remember there's only 10 that they can negotiate on. A lot of those drugs are about to, their patents are about to expire and
the generics are about to come in anyway. It might be a bait and switch. But again, even set aside the pharmaceutical situation, I don't think it's hard to say that Joe Biden has been the best president on economics in my lifetime.
No, I agree with you on that.
That's not even a question.
The worst part about all
I'm 36, y'all.
The worst part about all of this is that Biden actually fulfilled some of the promises, economic promises for progressives, and I have no doubt that Senator Bernie Sanders is the one who pressured him behind the scenes. And if it doesn't benefit Biden and the Democratic Party, they're going to point to these policies as the reason why they lost, or the reason why they're being punished by the electorate. That's what I'm worried about. But these are policy changes that have lasting benefits, right? The NLRB making it easier for workplaces to unionize, right? The FTC under the leadership of Lina Khan, who Biden chose for that role. The impact they're having in preventing monopolies will have lasting power, and we will see the benefits of that in years to come. But when it comes to the immediate impacts of high interest rates, inflation, high gas prices, all of that really provides a smokescreen to what some of the good things that Biden has done, I think, in reality.
Yeah, and again, he can't quite be as radical as I think some pretty moderate economists would say that he should be, as far as price fixing.
I don't know. I don't know if that's a good solution.
I mean, to be honest, to smooth the pricing on gas to ordinary Americans, I think would work. But again, like the idea that you would smooth some of these increases that can be pretty jarring on the average person.
Totally.
And even, maybe you means test that thing to death, which is one of the favorite things of the Democrats to do. Again, that would be considered more radical, but I don't see how else these things get fixed outside of fundamental change in the way we organize our economy in general.
Totally.
I
mean, listen, the United States is the #1 oil and gas producer in the world.
Yeah, makes no sense.
We are also the #1 exporter of oil in the world. And that's relevant to know because while Republicans keep pointing fingers at Biden for not allowing us to be energy independent, fact of the matter is we have not nationalized energy in this country. We haven't nationalized oil and gas in this country. It's owned by private entities who get to sell the fossil fuels to the highest bidder. And so that's part of the problem here. And the real solutions, especially if we're in the middle of an economic emergency that's impacting people at the gas pump. I mean, Biden could temporarily nationalize. He'd never do it. But there are political consequences to not taking bold actions that would help people at the gas pump. So we'll see how this all plays out. It is not looking well for Biden and the Democrats when it comes to the economy. And if you think Republicans would handle it better, just keep in mind that Donald Trump increased the deficit by another $2 trillion simply by offering and passing more tax cuts for the rich and corporations.
Yeah, I just don't see an argument for Republican policies, quite frankly, because they end up being more expensive because again, when you cut taxes, you're cutting revenue, thereby adding to our debts. Like it's not really, this isn't, like I'm not even that great at math. Like it's just obvious.
I mean, they like deregulation. I mean, look at the red states and how they, like Arkansas is a perfect example. Like what have they done? They've loosened child labor laws to allow literal like 14-year-olds to work in environments that they have no business working in. So look, look, people forget real quick what it was like to live under Republican leadership. They're gonna blame their problems on whoever is in charge at that moment, and right now it's Democrats. And if I were Biden, I don't know, maybe find someone in the Democratic Party who can go out and give aggressive speeches on your behalf, touting what you've accomplished. He's not doing a good job with it. It's not getting through to the American people, and they gotta try something different.
Yeah, and the last thing that I want to leave people with some level of hope and why I'm a bit more bullish on Biden and his economy and his policies is something that doesn't even have to do with Biden. It's those COVID checks, just generally speaking. This is was a radical policy move, something that was literally just unimaginable during just the Obama term, right? And the idea that they did something that radical just shows the possibilities that when there's will behind it, radical things, bold changes can happen very quickly. It's just a matter of managing the backlash that always inevitably comes from a capital class that is extremely organized, extremely united, and always on task and message.
And has the corporate media in its pocket, so.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching the video, guys. We also love it if you hit the join button below because that makes you a member, and members allow us to be independent, honest. We can be as progressive as we want, no corporate media influence, and that's all because of you guys. We love doing the show with our members. Hit the join button, become one of the Young Turks.